was like, who is Lil Ricky? Where is Lil Ricky? Maybe the next question will be, why Lil Ricky? It's Kristen, and today we are talking about Season 3 of Netflix's series On My Block. Season 2 ended with our core 4 getting kidnapped, and in Season 3 we pick off right where that left off, and we meet a new character named Cuchillos, who is the leader of the Santos, and she wants to send these guys on a mission. She knows how smart they are, they found the Roller World money, they defeated the Prophets, and she wants them now to go and find Lil Ricky.
Lil Ricky is alive, and you're gonna find him.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this season of On My Block. I want to know, what did you think about this season, and do you think we're gonna get another one? Drop down in the comments and let me know. I feel like, based off the finale, that we have to. I would say On My Block is probably one of my favorite shows that Netflix is doing right now. I think that they have such an incredible balance in this show of kind of like that humor, like these goofy moments, just moments showing these kids growing up. You know, in this season particularly, we're following people falling in love, losing their virginity, trying to figure out, you know, where they stand. And then on the other side of it, you have some of these more heartfelt or darker moments. And we are dealing with this neighborhood that's in an area that deals with guns and gang violence. And the characters that we follow are constantly being put in these tough positions where they are sort of losing their innocence in a way, or they are losing their friendship in a way to these darker forces, and they're kind of dealing with this tug of war of like, how can we just go back to having this regular life? I think this season in particular really expands the world that we're following even further, and I love that this is a show that, you know, they don't just bring up a storyline and then drop it once it's over. Like, the events of Season 1 and Season 2 continue to affect the storyline and these characters and their choices, and I love that because it's so easy for shows sometimes to just drop things, and I think in this show it feels like they really are building this world that we even feel a part of. Like, as an audience member, I feel like, oh, these are my friends that I'm following on the block, you know? And just in general, as I'm watching the show, I feel like our characters are so strong and so developed that this show really knows where it wants to go with it, and it makes sense. And I think the show also does a really great job of kind of slowly building to those moments that you want to see. You know, Jasmine was one of my favorite characters last season, and I think this season they really were able to continue adding her to be part of the group. They gave her a lot of really great moments with Monse, which is something that I had wanted to see, and they really did become this group of 5 friends working together to solve this mystery, trying to save themselves, and I really do think that this group of friends relies on each other and leans on each other in a really nice way. And speaking of Jasmine, I think she actually had one of my favorite storylines this season, kind of this back and forth of will they, won't they with her and Ruby, and there was one scene in particular where Jasmine kind of, you know, wasn't sure what Ruby's intentions were, but she was like, I am a whole life's love, like I don't want someone that's just gonna come in, use me, and, you know, abuse me and set me aside. And I really loved seeing how much self-worth Jasmine has, and I thought that that was a really powerful moment. Another thing that was really cool this season was just the parallels to previous seasons, but also just past storylines that we were sort of introduced to, like the idea of Cuchillos kind of being the brains behind the guys that, you know, had the Roller World money, and it paralleled how Monse is sort of like the brains or the glue between her group of guy friends, or the relationship between Spooky and his father. It felt like they had very parallel stories going on, just in different points of their lives. There was also some just parallels between what these characters are dealing with and what's actually going on outside of their neighborhood, outside in the real world. You know, Monse gets a phone call from her new roommate that she's gonna have when she goes to this boarding school, and they're in the middle of, you know, this mission to find Lil Ricky, and, you know, basically being threatened by Cuchillos, and then her roommate is like, oh, you know, I'm having such a boring summer, I can't wait for summer to be over, how many beaches can you go to? And it was interesting to see what is going on outside of what they're dealing with. Like, other people are living their lives and going to the pool and going to the beach and having a fun summer, and they keep getting stuck in this cycle of gang violence. There are people that go through that. It must be very frustrating because you want to be out of this situation and you just keep getting sucked back in for different reasons. While they're on this mission to find Lil Ricky, we get to see them doing all of this different investigating and going and kind of confronting different people. And I think one that was really funny was when they went to the set of the Lunch Money music video, because it felt like a parody of Rebecca Black's Friday, but also a little bit of like JoJo Siwa. Like, I feel like the girl was dressed sort of like JoJo Siwa in a way. On the other side of things, there were a couple of moments that I didn't really like in this season that I didn't think worked. One of them was the fact that, you know, throughout the entire season, Jasmine has been helping this crew, and then towards the end, out of nowhere, Ruby's like, I don't want Jasmine involved in this anymore. And I get that he wanted to kind of protect her, but at the same time, she was already part of things and already helping out and already invested in it already. I thought that it just felt like we were pushing her character to the side when really at that point I wanted to see even more of Jasmine. The other thing is like a little bit of a spoiler, but it doesn't actually like affect any of the storylines, but it was when Monse kissed Spooky. I just like felt like that moment was coming and I didn't want it to happen because it just didn't make sense to me in terms of the character. The other thing is that like in the last few episodes they really went to this place with the character Spooky where like I was very concerned about him and wanted to make sure he was okay. Like I was very worried, and I feel like the storyline there got a little bit muddled about like what really happened to Spooky and why. Like they didn't really show the whole interaction between him and Cuchillos and the 19th Street Gang, so I think that that was something that could have added a lot to the story, and instead they kind of just glossed over what happened and just got kind of to the ending, and so I wish that they did a little bit more there. I think the other thing is that we find out in the season, spoiler alert, that Lil Ricky is still alive, and so the big theme of this season is where is Lil Ricky? And then by the end, I don't think they really answered that. And so it kind of felt like we went on this big mystery that was fun, but by the end you don't really get a satisfying answer. Although Lil Ricky has been a plot point since the first season, it makes me wonder if we do get a 4th season, will that finally address the answers? You know, we kind of got like an introduction to the story and then it was like, who is Lil Ricky? Where is Lil Ricky? Maybe the next question will be, why Lil Ricky? You know? So I'm excited to see where things go. I do think that this show felt like it could go into a season 4 and kind of jump ahead and do some really exciting things. I'm going to talk about the ending in a separate video, so if you want to check that out, the link will be right over here. But overall, I just had a lot of fun with this season of On My Block. I think Jasmine continues to be a standout character. I think that they really added a lot more depth to the characters and kind of what they're dealing with in this season. You know, we really got to see also kind of the struggles of, you know, being this group of friends that is going through something so dark that will that have an effect on your friendship. And I think we kind of do see the ups and downs throughout the season, and I just think the stories that they touch upon in On My Block are really powerful ones. They can be, you know, very dark at times, they can be really funny at times, but regardless, I think that to follow this series of these young African American and Hispanic teens going through life, through love, through hardships is a really important story, and I think that's what makes On My Block just such an enthralling show to watch. If you guys like this one, you can check out more of my On My Block reviews right over here, and I will catch you in my next video. See ya!